Yo, yo, Amir Rahimi here, owner of Rappin and Snackin. Another episode of Collector's Corner. Let's get into it. First half of this episode is going to be from one seller from Discogs. I got these for 75 bucks, what I'm about to show, and that was shipped, so including shipping. And basically, we were negotiating, and I was bringing the price down, so basically, I don't know the individual prices, but it's 75 total. So, first pickup from him was Epmd's second album, Unfinished Business, on CD long box. This is also sealed. It's got the hype sticker. I don't have too many of these in my collection, so when I saw this in very clean mint condition, I was excited to pick it up. It's a dope album from Epmd, man. It's got some serious bangers on here, and you're going to see some other stuff I got from this seller that's also from Epmd. So big shout out. I only got a few of these in my collection, so I was excited to add on to that. Dope album, man. Next, this was a cassette that I got from him that was sealed, or that is sealed, Snoop Dogg's unofficial album, compilation, whatever you want to call it, Dead Man Walkin'. So this was released on Death Row, but this was without Snoop's, Snoop didn't want this to come out, basically. This is when Snoop was on No Limit, but Suge was still messing with him and releasing stuff without his permission, because he could. And it's also just a subtle but very straight up diss at Snoop, because he's got the title Dead Man Walkin', talking to Snoop Dogg. And he was still making money off Snoop and his name. So basically this came out, and Snoop wasn't too happy about it. But anyways, this was part of my pickup. Next, this is actually one of my favorite pickups from this video, because this is Kool Rappin DJ Polo's On the Run. And the reason why this is so special is, one, because it's from one of my favorite albums ever, Live and Let Die, by G-Rap and Polo, and Jinx producing most of it, if not all of that album, but definitely most of it. But anyways, the reason why this is so special is because not only does it have On the Run, but it's actually, I don't believe this is the album version. This is, it's got the remixes, so it's got On the Run Al Capone version, and it's got On the Run Untouchable. And for me, the Untouchable remix is my favorite, because one, that was the one that was present on the music video version, which I prefer that instrumental, and the album version is definitely not as good in my opinion. So happy to get that. And then also we got Straitjacket, which is another song from the amazing album. And I also really dig this cover art, although it doesn't have G-Rap and Polo on the cover. I think just the artwork is also pretty dope. So man, if you haven't heard Live and Let Die, that album, check it out please. Next we got Grand Puba, 360 Degrees, What Goes Around, and this is after he left Brand Nubian and before he came back. So this is Grand Puba, and excited to pick this one up. Yeah, dope stuff. Next, this is also another one of my favorite ones that I picked up because, one, the song was great. This is Tupac's If My Homie Calls, with Brenda's Got a Baby as well. And the reason why I like this so much is because Tupac's one of my favorite artists, number one. Two, I really like the artwork. It seems, I'm sure it's not, but it seems Lakers inspired. It's got the purple and yellow, I wouldn't call that gold, but purple and yellow font. So that's super awesome. And this Tupac is just, this is before, obviously, Death Row. This is on his first album, so he was still very, very early on in the game. But that was 91 great songs right there. Anyways, now we got, also this is still from the same seller, by the way, we got Positive K, I Got a Man. And I still don't have this album, but I've heard this song, so this was dope to pick up, looking for that album. So boom, we got Positive K. Next up, when it comes to just amazing music, man, oh man, when it comes to just amazing music, And a group that not a ton of people talk about, but they're also not unknown. I wouldn't call them unknown, but it's a group that should be talked about more, is Above the Law. And that, shit, if you haven't heard Above the Law, or you've heard of them and you're like, where do I start? Obviously, I recommend going in order, from their debut album, Living Like Hustlers, but also checking out the NWA albums if you haven't, because, we got Layla, who's helping with NWA as well, but we got Above the Law Murder Rap, which is one of those just incredible beats, dude. It's aged so well. Was this released in 89 or 90? I don't remember, because the album came out in 1990, I believe, but the single may have came out in 89. I have it right here, actually. So this is 1990. Anyways, Ruthless Records is one of my favorite labels, number one. And number two, this production on the song by Drake, 0187 Laylaw, just fantastic stuff. So check that out. And it's also got another execution on it. Yes, it does. So, oh man, amazing stuff. Like I said, I got more Epmd. This is track 1 off of Unfinished Business. This is So What You Sayin'. And this is just one of, honestly, just the dopest beats in rap, dude. Like, the sample, the way Eric Sermon and Parrish did it is just, like, crazy. And then this song is just so exceptional. And you may have heard, if you haven't heard this song, which I hope you have, if you haven't heard this song, maybe you've heard Ice Cube's Jacket for Beats. And out of the beats that he takes, this is one of them. And Ice Cube, he glides over that beat too, but Eric and Parrish do so well on this, and one of definitely the best singles from their catalog for sure. So What You Sayin', classic stuff right here. On the contrary, we also got another Epmd single, also from Unfinished Business, but this one is probably one of their weakest singles in their catalog, and actually my least favorite song on Unfinished Business album. And this is You Had Too Much to Drink. And I was just not a big fan of the song. It was too long. They were trying to be, like, funny with the dude who had, like, the Cuban accent or whatever. I think it was Frank B, their homie Frank B. I think, yeah, Frank B. So, I don't know. I just don't like the role they had him play, and it was just too much, man. It was like, what? But the video was cool because it had LL Cool J in it as well. But anyways, the cover art's dope, and it's from a dope album, but the song, it doesn't do it for me, man. Next. So this I've alluded and straight up flat out said in other videos. When I see Rap-A-Lot, I just go ahead and I buy it. It doesn't matter if I've heard it or not, I'm buying it. Like, that's just the trust that I have with Rap-A-Lot Records, man. Shout out Jay Prince. Too Much Trouble, I don't have this album yet. And I also have not heard this song yet, but when I was browsing through this dude's store, I was like, well, I know I want to get Too Much Trouble's music, so might as well get the tape first. And this is Family Can Be Your Worst Enemy. Haven't heard it, so I can't really comment on it, and it's also got the B-side, If You Ain't Suckin', so this is funny, man. Rap-A-Lot with amazing titles in the music. Next, we're getting to CDs, so that is all I got from that one seller, and yeah, I was excited to pick those up. Next, this is Royce the 5'9's newest album. I believe this dropped in February. Physicals dropped like a couple weeks after that, so this is Royce's The Allegory album. This, I believe he produced all of it, and producing is something that's fairly new to him. I know he produced on Eminem's Music to Be Murdered By, but before that I don't recall seeing his production credits on really much, if anything at all. But this, he took a big risk and a step in his career to produce his entire project. So Royce the 5'9", The Allegory, I've heard it a couple times. In my opinion, definitely not up to the strengths of Book of Ryan. But Book of Ryan is one of those very special albums, and in my opinion, Book of Ryan was 2018 Album of the Year, in my opinion, and that was just excellent album by Royce. But The Allegory, I got to listen to it more. I heard it a few times, and it's pretty good, a little too long, but pretty good nonetheless. Shout out Royce, and I'm excited to hear what he does, if he's going to produce more, if he's going to produce more for other people, for himself, whatever he does. Shout out Royce, one of the dope artists, man. So this next pickup, this one I actually got from Gourmet Deluxe, and this is limited edition as well. This is one that I had heard a lot of people talking about, and I was excited to listen to it because you already know that I wait till physicals are released and when I buy them before I listen to them. But anyways, this is a Big Ghost and Riggs and Mooch. And I haven't heard any music from Riggs and Mooch, and still, I got this pretty recently, so I haven't cracked the plastic off to listen to it. But anyways, I'm very excited to listen to this because I've heard great things about it, and Big Ghost is not only a dope dude, he's also dope on production, so shout out to Big Ghost. And I'm excited to hear Riggs and Mooch because, like I said, I haven't really heard much of their music. Just maybe 1 or 2 songs here and there that I've seen people post on IG, but that's about it. This also comes with the Obi strip, which is under the plastic. So that's cool, and it also says here that it has bonus tracks on it, so not sure if that was available on the original, digital purchase, but on the CD it seems like they have it. So shout out Big Ghost, Riggs and Mooch, and Gourmet Deluxe. I'm excited to pop this one in when I do. Next up, so these, okay, so y'all gonna see a few of these in future videos because right now, and I've said it before, but when I listen to artists, I try and listen to the best of my ability. I try and listen in chronological order. And that goes with individual artists, that goes with groups, that goes with even labels to an extent if I can, or if I can, which that is really tough because some labels are very, very large. Anyways, this is all for 3-6 Mafia and related acts. So I started listening to 3-6 Mafia years back. And I started with Mystic Styles. Obviously, they had underground tapes before that and stuff, but in terms of like official albums that are, easier to find, I can't find like those old cassette tapes. That's just gonna be way too tough. But anyways, from like official stuff, I started with Mystic Styles, then I went from Chapter 1 to End, then I went to Chapter 2 World Domination, but they also have other projects in between with other artists and their artists on Hypnotized Minds. So we got like N.O.G., we got obviously Project Pat, we got LeChat, we got Gangsta Boo, we got all these people, and anyways, and some of them are in 3-6 Mafia and have solo ventures, and others they were never officially in 3-6 Mafia, but they were affiliated acts or groups or under the Hypnotized Minds label. So anyways, with that all being said, I'm picking up a bunch of 3-6 Mafia related stuff because I'm like, their stuff was dope, but then I put it on hold because other stuff was coming out, so it's like, alright, now it's time to fully dive in. And also, Soren Baker was pushing me, he's like, you gotta hurry up and listen to their stuff, man, so shout out to the good friend Soren Baker. So anyways, I picked up Choices, the album. So I picked this one up, and actually I also picked it up with Hypnotize, Camp Posse, that album as well. So these I picked up from the same seller from eBay. It came out to, I think, $35 shipped for both of these used, very good condition. So their stuff also, it's not the cheapest, like their CDs, their tapes especially, their records, they're not cheap. I remember back in the day, like years ago, I had won like the Mystic Styles, Chapter 2 World Domination, Chapter 1 The End, and a few other CDs I had gotten for a bundle for pretty cheap, like $35-$40. And now that stuff goes for higher. So anyways, I picked these up. I'm excited to listen to them. Definitely am. Next, we got one of the groups that I was talking about that is not 3-6 Mafia, but it's on the label. And this is the Kazi. And this is Project Pat, I think MC Mac and Scanman. Yes. So this is another one. This one was expensive. Talk about expensive. This one I got for $45. But I believe it's actually a pretty fair price. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, Kamikaze times 45. It's, if you're into like, obviously buying your music, you know, some artists, they have a very high price and others they don't. This is upper in the price range. So the Kamikaze times up. I'm excited to listen to this one, man. I am, because I've heard good things about it too. And DJ Paul and Juicy J, their production, because they exec produced all these albums that I'm talking about, which you gotta respect a lot because they're keeping their sound, they're making like their imprint felt not only in their scene but in rap, and also, this is their take on their music and what have you, and they want to keep it like that on all their albums. But anyways, like, a lot of these albums were coming out in like from from the late 90s to the early 2000s, and it's just wild all the output they had and the artists that they had. But also now we get into Endo-G, Angel Dust, and this is also produced by DJ Paul and Juicy J. This one, I've heard this one already because I've had it for now like a couple weeks before I record this video. So this one, it doesn't sound as DJ Paul and Juicy J on production. It doesn't sound like their style as much compared to other stuff I've heard from this era, but it's still a dope album nonetheless, and happy to add this one to the collection too. So in these next few videos, you're probably going to see a lot of 3 6 Mafia, DJ Paul, Juicy J, and Hypnotized Minds albums, anything from that label or era. So I'm very excited to start listening to it, because like I said, I started before, but then I stopped, and now I'm getting back into it. I'm trying to listen in order as much as I can. So, oh man, this is like super nerd shit, man. So, gotta respect it. And anyways, big shout out to them and their music. And anyways, these are my pickups for this Collector's Corner episode. And hope everyone's staying safe out there. It's just like too much shit's going on. So anyways, let me know your favorites. Like, subscribe, comment. Appreciate it. Peace.